If you're like me, you probably love looking at mock drafts. This one is a really good one for the New York Jets. They have some stuff I'm very excited about. Pro Football Focus releases a 2-round mock draft. Who do they have the Jets selecting?
Jets, Jets, Jets!
All right, let's hop into this mock draft. Pro Football Focus releases a 2-round mock draft, a bunch of trades in here. The whole idea, quarterbacks going early in the first round. The Jets making a trade, and I'm excited to get into this. So let's hop into the mock draft. But before we do, we got to thank the sponsor of the channel, SKG Tax. The New York Jets practice and play in New Jersey. This tax season, Jet fans may struggle with their state identity. If you're a fan and can't determine how to report your income, call JR the Tax Czar and address all your multi-state tax questions. Don't go on the road as a wild card filer. Hire yourself a CPA to game plan and defend your home turf. JR, thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys want to help support the channel, please support the sponsors of our channel, SKG Tax. Link in the description down below. So let's hop into this. This one I'm excited to get into. I love talking about mock drafts, especially when they go the way that I want them to go. And there's a little thing that we want to get into here with the trades and whatnot. So first and foremost, post-Super Bowl 2024 mock draft coming out from Pro Football Focus. 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. Denver Broncos trading up to number 2 for Drake May. So before we even click into the article, we know number 2 sliding all the way back down to number 12 with the Commanders. Now, this is something that's pretty interesting to consider because everyone is penciling the 49ers, sorry, not the 49ers, the Commanders, to take a quarterback at number 2. But if Caleb Williams is not there, maybe they are more inclined to slide back and go with a different quarterback option or a different player in general. If they can slide back that far, you could get a bunch of draft picks. So this seems to be a different route. I don't know if I see this particular team doing it, but, you know, hey, I'm cool with getting into this here. So let's hop into the first round. Now, this is a trade, big-time trade for the New York Jets, and I love it. They have the Jets receiving the 12th pick from the Commanders, who just moved down from number 2, and the Jets pick up the number 40 overall pick in the second round. The Jets wind up sending number 10 towards the Commanders so they can take J.J. McCarthy in the first round. So they trade down from a quarterback spot, pick up a bunch of draft picks, and select another quarterback or select their quarterback of the future at number 10. We also throw them our 3rd round pick, so the Jets will not have a pick in the 3rd round in this particular scenario, but I'm okay with that because I'm really looking at 2 particular options here going into the offseason. You want to fix the offensive line, you want to fix the wide receiver room, and the 3rd round is going to be a very tough spot to really get an immediate impact player at either one of those positions. Maybe you go with an interior offensive lineman and you have a little bit more luck. But I like the idea of trading our 3rd round pick to get up into the 2nd to get someone that could contribute immediately. So if you're looking at the point value here, the Jets give up 12 and 40. That's the equivalent of 1,700 points according to the trade value chart on Draft Tech. And then the Commanders get 1,300 points from pick 10 plus 230 from pick 72. So the Jets are kind of winning this trade by about, what is that math-wise, 170 points. So right there, from a face value, not bad. There's a little bit of a premium you're going to have to pay if you want to come up and get a quarterback. Now, is there any other team that's looking to hop the Vikings? Maybe the Raiders want to come up. Maybe the Vikings just want to shift 1 pick. Either way, they draft someone, the New York Jets, with Talisa Fuaga, Funga, sorry, I got to get that name down better, at the number 12 pick, someone we would have taken at number 10. A lot of Jet fans would be really happy with this pick. Pro Football Focus says, with no 2nd round pick due to the Aaron Rodgers trade, the Jets could look to move back a bit if they have multiple offensive tackle options still on the board. Here, they have a scenario where they drop only 2 picks in the first round, swap a 2nd and a 3rd rounder with one of Washington's extra 2nd rounders that they got from their trades. Montez Sweat got him a 2nd rounder, and I think, did Chase Young get them one as well? Either way, and still grabbing a starting caliber, right tackle in Talisa Fuaga. Now, it is important to note that Olu Fashanu is still on the board at this pick, and the Jets passed on him. We've heard a bunch of rumors about Fuaga being linked to the New York Jets and Joe Douglas scouting this guy for months on months and months on end. And it's yet to be seen if that is any sort of a smokescreen where the Jets may be looking to have another player fall down their board. Could it be a wide receiver? Could it be Olu Fashanu? Maybe a Joe Alt? Maybe they're trying to play a little bit of games. Either way, I really like Fuaga. And Daniel Jeremiah, I think in his first 2 mock drafts, has mocked him to the New York Jets as well, and he's very close with Joe Douglas. So this pick just seems to make a whole lot of sense across the board. Now, this is a selection that you hope you make in conjunction with solving your left tackle in free agency. Or are they considering moving AVT out to the left-hand side? I don't particularly want to do that, so I would tend to lean Olu Fashanu in this scenario just because he's there. But I don't know how they solved offensive line in free agency, so I'm not going to nitpick too hard there. Maybe they solve it and take it Fuaga. The guy's a road grader. He absolutely dominated the Senior Bowl. We've talked about this multiple times. I am very high on Talise Funga. That's how you pronounce it, Funga. Then, with the second round pick, the New York Jets go out and they get their wide receiver to complement Garrett Wilson, Jalen Polk, the 6'2", 204-pound wide receiver from Washington. This guy spent 70% of his time out wide, 30% of the time in the slot. That's perfect for me. I want an outside wide receiver, but I want the flexibility to have this guy kind of kick inside because Garrett can go inside and outside as well. And if you can interchange these guys, absolutely perfect. His best games this past year were against Cal and Stanford. Both times he went over 127 against Cal, 148 against Stanford. Both had 2 touchdowns. So the guy shows up. And then in the college football playoffs, he had a really good game against Texas. And then the next game against Michigan, they wound up getting their doors kicked in. So it's hard to hold too much against him because it just didn't look like Washington came ready to play for that game. But overall, the Texas Tech guy transfers over to Washington, has pretty decent career. When you look at his Pro Football Focus grades, you see him start to increase year over year. And this past year with Penix at the helm, 9 touchdowns, 1,159 yards. I'm on board with this. Now, there are some other wide receivers that I do like. I wasn't necessarily penciling in Jalen Polk as the receiver that I was targeting in my mind, but I guess we also don't have a second-round pick. He's projected to go mid-second round, so, wasn't quite there. Other options you could consider, depending on how the combine kind of rolls around. Do you want to go after a Brendan Rice, a Tez Walker? Maybe there's a Xavier Leggett there somewhere along those lines. There's going to be a lot of options for the New York Jets, and I think this is the way I would love to handle this. First round has to be offensive line, in my opinion. This is too good of a draft, too many good offensive linemen. Take the best one of the bunch, plug him in, he's there for the next 10 years. 100% that's the way to do it. You keep Aaron Rodgers upright. This offensive line, I think, is going to look a lot better with Aaron Rodgers at the helm anyway. And then wide receiver-wise, you're talking Jalen Polk, Garrett Wilson. I would like to maybe get a slot wide receiver in free agency, maybe someone like a Curtis Samuel who's from Brooklyn who might be able to complement both these guys. Now you have a situation where you have a really nice wide receiver room with Allen Lazard sitting back there as wide receiver 4. You don't have to see him get on the field too much, but I very much like this first round for the New York Jets. Guys, let me know your thoughts of Pro Football Focus's mock draft. Do you like the trade down from 10 to 12? Do you think it's enough value? Do you want to go a different direction with either one of those selections? Let me know in the comments section down below. And as always, go Jets.
Jets!